Sean Cullo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode, I'm going to share once and for all my opinions on all the various higher end vacuum blenders on the market and what's the best one to buy. This is the question I get so much, and I really don't have a video where I basically talk about the pros and cons, the ins and outs of every one of these vacuum blenders. Over the years, I've used all these vacuum blenders that are sitting here, some a lot more than others. That being said, I know the pros and cons, the ins and outs, and I've seen, testing of their durability, how long they last, how they perform, and all this stuff. So I'm going to share with you guys to the best of my ability, why you might want to buy one or another one, and the pros and cons of each one. That being said, what I will not be doing in this episode is sharing and really getting into why you need to vacuum blend, right? I have many videos on vacuum blending. I'll put a couple links down below where I really explain the differences between traditional blending and vacuum blending. In this day and age, I am only a fan and advocate for vacuum blending. I do not advocate traditional blending, and for those of you guys that don't know what vacuum blending is and how it is different than traditional blending, when you blend in a standard Vitamix or whatever other blender you're using, all blenders pretty much as default since they've been made over 100 years ago have been traditional blenders where you turn the blender on, the blade spins around, it has a funnel vortex, and it actually mixes in a lot of oxygen into the smoothie, into whatever recipe you are blending up. This adds a lot of, number one, dissolved oxygen into the mixture, which means now you are swallowing oxygen or air, which means you will be bloating, you will be getting gas, you will be, maybe belching, burping because of the extra air you're swallowing. The higher the RPM of the blender, the more oxygen it dissolves and puts into whatever you're blending. Now, besides just the bloating, which is what most, especially ladies, don't really like, the other big issue with it is that it also will oxidize the oxygen-sensitive nutrients. Proven by published studies, oxygen-sensitive nutrients, when it's being bombarded with oxygen, will lower. They can be 2 to 3 times lower. In addition, recently published studies talk about the negative and detrimental effects of polyphenol oxidase, which is an enzyme present in things like bananas, apples, and pears, to a lesser extent even things like chard, avocado, that when you blend these foods rich in polyphenol oxidase, right, and then you supercharge the polyphenol oxidase with oxygen, that enzyme goes crazy. And it basically breaks down polyphenols, thereby lowering the amount that you will actually get into your bloodstream. That's why there's many videos online that say, don't blend berries with bananas, because pretty much you don't get the benefits of the berries. Now, there are some plant-based doctors that say, don't even eat bananas with berries. I might disagree with that because the issue is really the oxygen being added and supercharged into the bananas to make the polyphenol oxidase go crazy. And I've seen that when you vacuum blend and when you remove the excess oxygen, which is what all these machines do before blending, you don't have the excessive polyphenol oxidase occurring, so your blended mixtures don't turn brown as quickly. You don't lose some of the beneficial polyphenols. You don't lose the other oxygen-sensitive vitamins and phytochemicals. In addition, you retain a better color. You're not gulping down air. You get a more rich and tasty smoothie or whatever you're blending. It's a more vibrant color. There's less separation, and it's going to have better storability. That's very important. If you guys make a smoothie, we've all made banana smoothies, and we drink it, and then we leave like this much in the carafe. We go back a couple of hours later, drink it again. It tastes nothing like when you originally blended it. It tastes sour, tastes bad, tastes horrible. If you vacuum blend items, even a few hours later, it's going to taste pretty similar to when you just were done vacuum blending, because you're not dissolving all the oxygen. Then all that oxygen later pops, dissolves, and then further degrades your smoothie over time. This is also shown by published studies. Anyway, so much for the benefits of vacuum blending. I'm here to tell you guys that I'm the #1 promoter of vacuum blending, and I'm glad there's people out there like Raw Food Romance and even people like Raw Advantage out there, some of my friends that also promote vacuum blending because they understand the difference, but unfortunately most people don't even know about vacuum blending, and it's not going to be easy for you as consumers to vacuum blend because I go to the industry trade shows. At the industry trade shows a few years ago, basically most companies, including Oster and other companies, had vacuum blenders and they put them out. They didn't do any educational work. They just expected them to sell and the public to automatically just understand what they are and buy them. Nobody did the education necessary so that customers could really understand the benefits. Plus, let's face it, how many people really blend for their health? If you guys are just blending up margaritas, you could turn this video off now. No reason to watch it to get a vacuum blender. That being said, if you guys are into this for your health, blending for health, the only way you should be blending, in my opinion, is vacuum blending. And I really don't like when I can't vacuum blend when I'm traveling and I have to go to a friend's house that doesn't even have a vacuum blender. But there's even solutions to that I've done in the past, which we'll discuss in this video. And I want to share with you guys two phrases that some of my friends have coined. So my friend Kailash says he does not want you to air up your smoothie, because literally if you're not vacuum blending, you're airing up your smoothie. It's like watering down your smoothie by adding extra water. Literally you're adding extra air every time you blend in a traditional blender. You add lots of air. And of course, my friend Nate says once you go vac, you don't go back, because once you've tasted the difference, you're like, wow, I can't go back to those aerated smoothies any longer. And the sad thing is, most major manufacturers have discontinued their vacuum blenders. I believe there should be more vacuum blending options for people, and the companies that come out with vacuum blenders, more importantly, need to do education to educate the customers on why vacuum blending is so important for people that are really, preparing food and trying to do it in the best ways possible to get the most beneficial compounds and healing benefits and to stay healthy, to lose the weight, right? Some of these compounds like the polyphenols in studies have shown to help people lose weight and reverse metabolic damage and all these things. But when you're blending every time you think you're doing something healthy and you lose the nutrition, right? Maybe you could have a little bit of extra advantage by vacuum blending if you are not already. And I feel definitely a benefit of vacuum blending, not to mention just that my smoothies taste a lot better, which means there's more nutrition in them. And of course, they last a lot longer and I could store them, especially when I do like blended salad dressings from scratch. I can store that easily a week under vacuum in my fridge in a mason jar. So anyways, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and introduce all the various higher end vacuum blenders that are currently on the market. And I'm gonna share with you guys my opinions on each of them. And we're gonna do tight shots on this half and then this half of the vacuum blender. So to introduce them, and I got these all arranged in order of price, because I know price is one consideration you should take into consideration when buying a vacuum blender. I will mention prices in this episode. I don't normally like to do that because prices are subject to change. That being said, be aware that prices are subject to change. And of course, my name is John Kohler, and I started my company DiscountJuicers.com back in 1998, over 25 years ago now, to save you guys the most money on the equipment. So what I will tell you guys, if you guys want to buy any of these machines, I have links down below, most of which have coupon codes to save you guys additional money off to get the price the lowest as possible on any of these vacuum blender solutions. So please check the links down below to save the most money. And more importantly, when you guys use the links and the coupon codes, the respective companies will share me a small commission so I can continue to make these educational videos for you, because I share with you guys information you're literally not going to hear anywhere else. And before I go on, I want to say, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you click the little bell so you get notified as my new videos come out. You never know what new juicer or vacuum blending knowledge bombs or new equipment I'll be unboxing to take your guys' health and food preparation to the next level. All right? So let's go ahead and introduce all the different vacuum blending solutions. So the first vacuum blending solution is actually an add-on solution. If you already are lucky enough to own the Blendtec Blender, which is the best made in America blender in my opinion, for many reasons, right? You could just buy this lid. This lid is called the Void Systems Lid, and it fits on any 4-side or wild side, which is my preferred container, Blendtec blender, and literally turns your Blendtec blender into a vacuum blender. This is priced at $199. So this by far is the cheapest solution to vacuum blend. All right. Next up, if you don't have a Blendtec, you need to get a whole entire blender. This is the next cheapest solution. This can range in price from $250 to $299. This is the NuWave vacuum blender. Now, unfortunately, the NuWave vacuum blender has been discontinued by NuWave, right? They are going to continue selling traditional blenders without the vacuum, but they found this did not sell well. So as soon as all the inventory in the United States is sold through, they will not be getting any more. However, I did speak to them at the trade show, and they said they will support the warranty on the machine through the warranty expiration. Next up, if you guys are lucky enough to own a Vitamix, right, this next solution fits on your Vitamix. So basically, you get the Void Systems lid with a special carafe and a pad that will fit your Vitamix, and now you can vacuum blend in your Vitamix. This is $299 to basically upgrade your Vitamix and turn it into a vacuum blender. The next solution is if you don't have a blender and you like the Void Systems kit and you want to get a blender, then you guys could buy the Void Systems blender, which comes with the blender base as well as their carafe and lid. Keep in mind, these two carafes, while they look the same, are not exactly the same, and they are not interchangeable. So don't think, oh, I could buy the Void's blender and then use the top on my Vitamix. That will not work. So the Void Systems vacuum blender solution is $399. All right, next up we have the Dynapro vacuum blending solution by Tribest. Now this blender, it'll set you back $599, but the amazing thing about this blender, unlike any other blender here, is that this vacuum blender is like a one-time purchase, because literally this has a 15 full year warranty, which is the longest warranty in the vacuum blending industry. There's no warranty that could even touch 15 years on the entire machine, including base and carafe. Of course, this machine is also certified for commercial use, but should you use this commercially, it only has a 3-year warranty. Now, the main difference between this vacuum blender and all the others is that all the other units have the vacuum system built in. You know, it's seamless. There's no extra attachments. In the case of this machine, it's built into the base. These two machines have it built into the base, and then these three have it built into the lid. With the Dynapro, you will need to use an optional, an attachment, which is an vacuum pump, which you basically set on top and you pump it up. This thing does burn through batteries, which is the con, but I do have a link down below where you guys could take a look and see how you could convert this to run on an AC adapter so that you don't have to burn through your batteries. I do find the pump is a little bit slower on this, but nonetheless, the 15-year warranty on a brand new blender vacuum blending solution is mighty impressive. All right, next up we have the Kuvings SV500. This one is at $649. This has a small carafe, but it is the world's first and quietest vacuum blender with a sound enclosure. So if you need something small with a sound enclosure for the home, this is it. The thing that saddens me most about the Kuvings vacuum blender is about when I originally made my unboxing video, link down below to that, and actually links down below to all these different products where I have detailed videos going over the pros and cons of each one and demonstrating them in detail. I'll also put comparison videos I've done in the past between these different models. Is that when this was originally released, it was a 7-year warranty, and they then changed that down to a 1-year warranty, and I personally believe that is because they found out because the vacuum pump was inside and their, original design wasn't optimal. It would allow sometimes liquid to suck into the vacuum pump and then ruin the vacuum pump in the motor, in which case then you had to send it all in to get repaired or replaced or something, and it was a big hassle. So they reduced the warranty, which to me is sad. It doesn't show good faith in their product, that it is actually quite durable. And of course, this is the product that I use that is totally dialed in these days. This came out several years after their home model. This is their commercial vacuum blender. This is the one that sits in my very kitchen, and this is what I choose to vacuum blend in on a regular and pretty much almost everyday basis. I make smoothies, salad dressings, hummuses. I make my nut butters in there, my soups in there, blended soups. I use this for so many different things. Now this one will set you back a pretty penny. It's about $2,000. So and it only has a 1-year warranty because it is made for commercial use. That being said, it's probably one of the best performing vacuum blenders on the market at this time. And its claim to fame here is that actually it is fully automatic. You literally load everything there, press one button, the lid shuts It puts a vacuum very quickly. Also, it has a quickest vacuum, and then blends automatically and actually does a fine job at blending. Blends up all the particulate. I mean, I'll put vanilla beans in there in my smoothie, whole vanilla beans, and in 50 seconds, like you can't even tell there was a vanilla bean in there. If I would do the same thing in a Vitamix or something, even with the Vitamix back in the day, right, there'd be fragments of vanilla bean that just did not get ground up. But they really have a good design on the blade assembly as well as a carafe, so it gets optimal blending performance. All right, so what I want to do next, now that you know all these different appliances, once again, links down below to their individual videos, as well as links down below to save the most money on any of these appliances, is we're going to go ahead and focus on these 4 first, and then these 4 last, to go more in detail and share my pros and cons, the ins and outs of each one, so that you could determine which one may be best for you. All right, so you guys can see we're first going to go into the 4 budget high-end models that I'll be discussing today. The first of which is simply this add-on lid. I mean, this add-on lid is my favorite way to vacuum blend, honestly, when I'm on the go and traveling. So many of my friends either have a Vitamix or a Blendtec because those are the best high-end blenders on the market. So literally, you know, my parents have a Blendtec at their house, so then I just travel with this lid, which I have taken on many times on the TSA through the carry-on without any issues. This is not allowed due to check-in because of the batteries that are built in. But literally, you just take this lid, put it on any Blendtec blender, and now you are vacuum blending. The amazing thing I love about the Void Systems lid, it has dual or 2 pumps built in that come on at the exact same time. They have a nice really hum to it. It's like boom. And then the amazing thing about this vacuum blending solution is that it vacuums very quickly. A lot quicker than some of the other solutions out there, maybe except for the Kuvings commercial, which the vacuum happens even quicker than the Void Systems lid. But I believe the Void System lids will pull more vacuum than the Kuvings commercial vacuum blender will. Especially later when this model, this is a special high pressure model that they have coming out hopefully later this year. You know, this is the one that I prefer the most because this lid pulls the most vacuum out of any of the vacuum blending solutions out there by far. That's why I love it. Of course, this is also the cheapest option for you guys. It's only $199, and you guys use a coupon code down below, DJ25, will save you guys an additional $25 off. So if you're looking for a vacuum blending solution, you may want to get the Void Systems lid separate and then buy a Blendtec blender, right? I've bought Blendtec blenders used on eBay, on places like OfferUp or Craigslist for as low as $100. Now you might need to replace the carafe. The carafe is really old, but you know, you could buy a used Blendtec blender, get the lid, and be out for about, what, $299 and be vacuum blending. I do caution you guys, if you guys get a Blendtec blender, I would definitely tell you guys to get the wild side carafe. This is the 5-side carafe, and this is the 96-ounce carafe. I pretty much love everything about this carafe. It's probably one of the best carafes in the world, designed for blending, less one thing, which is the blade. The blade is more blunt, which is designed like that on purpose. And in some situations, the blunt blade does not serve you as well as a sharper blade would to grind to a finer particle size. That being said, in some cases, the blunt blade will actually do better than the sharp blades in other situations. And one of the ways the blunt blade will benefit you, because the blade is a lot heavier duty and thicker, it'll actually never break off in your smoothie or blended mixture. These carafes, I will say also, of all the carafes that I'm showing with you guys today, these have the best seals for vacuum blending. I do want to tell you guys that the Blendtec carafes, in my opinion, have the best seals, you know, that will stay intact under vacuum, because, you know, blenders have seals in the bottoms that are designed to keep the liquids in, but until now, they've never actually had to deal with a vacuum on them as well. So some vacuum blenders may not pull as much vacuum because the seals will blow out quicker, and actually I've had seals blow out on my Dynapro, for example. But you know, that's why having a long warranty on the vacuum blender is important because Tribest covered the whole bearing and blade assembly under warranty, and it was replaced for me. That being said, the Void Systems lid has a full 3-year warranty on it, which is quite impressive. And of course, if you guys buy a brand new Blendtec, you'll get the Blendtec warranty, and their warranty depends on the specific model. Now, the reason why I like the 96-ounce carafe is because it is large. You could fit a lot of items in there. And the first thing I learned about when you do vacuum blending from Tom Dixon is that you could also do what's called vacuum juicing. Tom enlightened me to vacuum juicing. I never thought that I'd be juicing in a blender because I thought that's the worst way to juice, because you're oxidizing all the oxygen-sensitive nutrients, adding significant amounts of air, which is degrading the nutrition and storability of your blended mixture or the juice after you strain it out. But under vacuum blending, you could actually make the highest quality juice. And if you ask me, even though I've been selling juicers for over 25 years, John, what's the best juicer to make the most nutrition and the highest yield? I'm going to actually tell you it's not a juicer. It's actually a vacuum blender. And then coupled with a vacuum blender, you will use these right here. This is called Alexa's bags. Alexa's bags are made for nut milk or extracting juice out of your vacuum blended or unfortunately blended mixtures. You basically blend it up, you put it through the bag, you squeeze out the bag, and then you extract your juice, which is a higher yield, higher quality juice than any juicer in the world could make. The reason for it is, number one, you're grinding up to the finest and smallest particle size better than any juicer. Number two, you're doing this without oxygen, so there's not the oxidative damage. This is highly evident when you use something like a Breville juicer that runs at a high speed that literally adds and pumps in lots of air into the juice. This, of course, also happens in a traditional blend when you blend it up and add lots of air in as well, but that's not happening in vacuum blending. So yeah, links down below to my videos where I demonstrate vacuum juicing with the Blendtec 96-ounce carafe, which is one of the best carafes on the market for vacuum blending. And then, of course, you guys could get these Alexa's bags at alexasbags.com. If you guys buy a vacuum blender, you should also definitely get a set of bags so you guys could vacuum juice. It's definitely the way. Once again, links down below to do all that. So yeah, I really love the Void Systems lid that literally just fit on a Blendtec carafe. The other thing I love is that these carafes are very easy to clean because they're 4 sides. I could take a spatula in there, get all my nutritious smoothies out. And I really love the carafe shape and size. This is not an optimal size if you guys are blending small amounts, however, all right? And of course, it is the least expensive option just to add the Void Systems lid on top of your existing, or if you buy a Blendtec. All right, next up, this has not gotten a lot of airplay on my channel. I don't even think on this channel it's ever even appeared in a video until now. It has appeared in my OK Raw YouTube channel. That being said, this is the NuWave. Now, a few reasons why this has not appeared is because NuWave, number one, has discontinued this vacuum blender. While it is still available, and I recommend you guys buy it at Amazon, link down below to my Amazon shop where you guys could buy that. You know, it will be discontinued. While this is a pretty solid performer, you know, it is made in China, and I do want to say that the, Void Systems lid here is made in America, as is the Blendtec Blender, unless they've changed that with the new ownership change. So for those of you guys that want to buy something made in America, I mean, the Blendtec solution is the way to go. This one is actually made in China. It's a fairly decent machine. It has a 5-year warranty. I do like the size of the carafe. Once again, it is an oversized carafe and not good for blending small volumes. It does have fairly sharp blades that work really well. I have a video with my friend Kailash, who used to work at Ann Wigmore Institute. Link down below. They actually were using this very blender in the kitchen to make the Ann Wigmore blended energy soup. And we demonstrate that, how you guys could make energy soup in a vacuum blender. Normally you'd have to use a tamper, but you have to adjust the recipe a little bit. And I mean, that's the main downside of vacuum blending, is that you can't use a tamper. But I like this because it's an affordable option for entry level, for people that just want to get their feet wet, right? I probably used this for a few months in my kitchen, and then I got tired of it, and I got another machine that I needed to test out. And it worked pretty good for that time. I mean, even though I didn't use it that much, a lot of these buttons actually got worn out, which is not looking good for the durability. And the main issue I had with this is that if we take this off on the top, they have this little piece here that basically has to get put on to the lid, and this is not a super good solution in my opinion, because what happens is you can remove this piece, and actually I think I stuck it on there super tight. So you have this piece here, it unscrews, and you can see this protects the one-way valve so the air does not come into your smoothie. But the issue is this protects the valve from getting crudted up. But the issue is if you don't screw this on tight enough, as the blender's blending, it's vibrating. And what happened to me on several occasions, it basically vibrated off and it fell into the smoothie. And that's why on the bottom of this, it's all just ground up, because like literally all the plastic shavings went into my smoothie. This has also happened to other people I've known who own this machine. Some of my friends that own this now no longer just put this piece on and just basically sacrifice this little part, which I believe is available at like local aquarium stores, because it's like a one-way valve used for aquarium pumps. Or they just keep this area really clean. Or if you do put this on, make sure it's screwed in really tight, because that's really a design flaw. Although probably the best part of the design on this lid is actually that it is easy to take off. Unlike other vacuum lids, this actually has an open and close valve here that's lock and unlock. So you just put it to unlock, it'll go in really easy because this takes the vacuum out of it. And then you could lock it in place and then shove that down and you're ready to vacuum blend. That being said, the overall build quality is not the best. It is made in China, although it does have a 5-year warranty. It has been discontinued, so you may not be able to buy this at the time you're watching this video, depending if they sold out or not. Next up, we got the solution for those of you guys and girls out there that have the Vitamix blender. This is once again by Void Systems. This is their Void Systems kit that comes with their lid, a carafe, as well as a pad and a few other accessories, including the charger and tamper, you know, to do vacuum blending in their carafe. Now, their carafe is a smaller carafe. It's measured up to 1,800 milliliters. That being said, you don't want to fill it that much if you are vacuum blending, because the mixture will expand. So this is really a smaller carafe than, say, the standard 64-ounce size carafe. That's kind of good and bad. It's not really optimal for vacuum juicing, whereas this would be a better solution for vacuum juicing because the carafe is so large. It actually has a really nice shape for vacuum juicing. This is not designed for vacuum juicing because the carafe is so small and it's really narrow at the bottom. That being said, this is a great solution for those of you that want to make smoothies and other dressings with small volumes of material. Now, I will say that this carafe is actually made in China, although the lid is made in the USA. And I'm not super impressed with the sharpness of the blade assembly on the carafe for the Vitamix. That being said, the main thing this kit has for it is that if you already own a Vitamix, just buy this kit and now you have the option of using your traditional Vitamix carafe to do traditional blending, or when you want to do vacuum blending, you could use this kit and then do the vacuum blending. So this kind of like leaves you to have one foot on either side. You know, I mean, I basically don't blend unless I vacuum blend these days. And if my recipe won't work for vacuum blending, I will find a way and adjust the recipe to make it work under vacuum blending, because I'm not sacrificing my blends any further. But yeah, I really love this solution because it is a solution that is available, probably the only solution available in the United States for vacuum blending in your Vitamix, unless you make some kind of DIY, kit or a modification to your Vitamix. And this comes in at $2.99 minus $25 off discount DJ25, voidsystems.com, link down below. Next up, we got the Void Systems solution. I do need to mention that their Void Systems blender is basically, while it may look like a Vitamix, it's definitely not a Vitamix. It is made in China. The blender base has a full 3-year warranty. The lid has a 3-year warranty, but both these carafes, the Vitamix or the Void Systems blender, only has a 1-year warranty. So that shows me that the Void Systems is not really confident in their carafe. They're likely going to blow out the seals due to the high pressure of the Void Systems lid. So they don't want to warranty the durability of the carafe because it is made in China. I hope they are able to get better carafes made in the near future. That being said, these carafes are BPA free, which is quite impressive. That being said, the main downside to the Void System solution is, you know, actually the motor base is pretty solid. Like, the performance I've gotten out of it rivals a Vitamix, actually. Now, where it may fall short, and I'm not exactly sure, is that the durability is probably not going to rival a Vitamix. I mean, the Vitamix, made in America with imported parts. That being said, this is made in China. China's gotten really good at making blender motors and whatnot, but I'm not really sure the durability of it. I mean, my solution, instead of buying their, you know, complete blender, I mean, I personally, even before I bought a Vitamix base and got this solution, I mean, honestly, guys, I would buy Blendtec with the 5-side carafe or wild side carafe, my favorite carafe out there, and then just buy the lid. I mean, that's a solution I would do personally, and I would suffer through the non-sharpened blade in the Blendtec wild side carafe. That's the part that I dislike the least. That being said, these blades are sharper than even the Blendtec blade, and between all these, I mean, I haven't done testing between all these, but I might. It really depends on what you're blending, right? This blade does do pretty good performance. But yeah, it's really tough. If you're doing small volumes, like in a recent test where I tested the Dynapro, which we'll discuss in a minute, against the Void Systems Carafe, I blended up blackberry seeds, which are really hard. And actually, the Void Systems Carafes, you know, blended up the blackberry seeds, you know, and left less particulate in my sieve, about half as much as the more expensive Dynapro. I believe that is for two reasons. Number one, the carafe shape. Because it is narrow at the base, it's better at getting more blade contact time. And number two, the blade is a bit sharper and works more efficiently. So it's kind of a mixture of those. And like with this one, the bottom of the carafe is not super narrow as this, and the blade is quite wide. And so these blades tend not to sometimes grind up as well. So yeah, I don't know if I would get a NuWave, especially knowing that it's been discontinued, but it is an option for some of you guys and girls out there that want to just get into something and you don't have a Blendtec or a Vitamix. And if I had to buy between the Void Systems for $3.99 or this for $2.49 or $2.99, I mean, between those two options, I'd probably get the NuWave. It seemed to perform pretty good, and just make sure you screw in that little top thing, which I think is a funky design and they need better engineering on that. So that's what I think about these low cost, you know, higher end vacuum blenders. Let's go to the ultra high end vacuum blenders right now. All right, now I want to talk about more of the high end vacuum blenders on the market. Each one of them, of course, have their own pros and cons, and of course, I have my own take on these higher end vacuum blenders as well. So first up, we're going to discuss the Dynapro vacuum blender. And, you know, overall, actually, I like this vacuum blender, and it was actually my go-to vacuum blender that I used for many years in my kitchen until the Kuvings CB1000 came out, which is the commercial vacuum blender, and then basically this one is now stored on a shelf, right? And to be honest with you guys, I really like a lot of things about the Dynapro. I do like the larger carafe size, so that is perfect for vacuum juicing. Like I discussed earlier, using Alexa's bags, because of the carafe shape and size, this makes it optimal for vacuum blending, especially due to the automatic features on the blending, such as the pulse blend, where you could actually just press the pulse blend once and it'll actually pulse, let it down, pulse, let it down. So this can really automate your vacuum juicing instead of doing a more manual process where you gotta gauge and pulse it yourself. Link down below to my video where I discuss making an anti-oxidation green juice, and its vacuum juicing is not easier than in any other blender than the Dynapro. I guarantee it from all the vacuum blenders I've tested. That being said, the thing I don't like about the Dynapro is the external pump that is smaller. I was told years ago that Tribest was going to improve their vacuum pump and come out with a new one. They have never done that. That being said, I did find that you guys can use manual vacuum pumps on the Tribest, so it'll save a lot of time, although it will take some strength. The vacuum pumps to use are the same pumps that I recommend for vacuum sealing in the mason jars. I think they're called the Sock T on Amazon. Link down below to my Amazon shop. You can just put that pump on there, pump it like 5 times, and pretty much get more pressure than you could with the Tribest vacuum pump that could pump in 60 to even 90 seconds. I do like the size of the carafe. For larger volumes, That being said, I did find when I blend, you know, something like a dressing and not a large volume of dressing and put nuts in there, you know, while most of the nuts will get blended, there'll be a few nuts due to the design of the blade and the base of the carafe is a lot wider, that the nuts will actually just kind of go down, go in between the blade and then come back up and then actually not get blended. So for that reason, you may need to do longer blend cycles to get everything 100% blended if you are doing something that's watery with some nuts to make something like a dressing. So that's why I did not like the Dynapro. I do like about the Dynapro is that Tribest has excellent customer service, and the really claim to fame about the Dynapro is that you're not going to find any vacuum blender or actually even any blender out there that has a 15-year warranty. So if you just like purchasing something once and knowing that you're going to be covered for the next 15 years, literally that is the reason to buy the Dynapro. Plus, if you want to vacuum juice, and I mean the results in the Dynapro are pretty impressive. Once again, links down below to my videos where I've compared, you know, the Kuvings to the Dynapro as well as the Voids to the Dynapro as well, so you guys could see the differences. I mean, they are all so close in performance. That being said, I do hope that vacuum blenders continue to evolve, and because, you know, I really am in favor of vacuum blenders, and what vacuum blenders tell you is that it sucks out the oxygen before blending. And when you say vacuum blender, it doesn't mean that it's going to blend as well as your Vitamix or as well as the blender you're used to. That's where I really think that the vacuum blender companies and manufacturers out there could improve and make the finest texture and smallest particle size blend while pulling a nice strong vacuum on the carafe at the same time. Of course, if you guys want to save 10% off on the Dynapro vacuum blender, you want to visit the website tribest.com/DJ10 and click the button to activate your 10% off to save 10% off on the Dynapro. Next up, we got the Kuvings vacuum blenders, and I do not recommend these blenders for vacuum juicing because the carafes are not the right shape and size for vacuum juicing. Number one, they're too small, and number two, they are too narrow. But actually, that is really an advantage if you guys don't want to vacuum juice. If you guys want to do small blended smoothies because you're just blending for yourself and you don't need to make 64 ounces of smoothie, you just want to make 24 to 32 or even 48 ounces of smoothie, that's where these blenders are amazing. This is the Kuvings Quiet Vacuum Blender because it has a built-in sound enclosure. It has probably the smallest carafe of all these units. I mean, to be honest with you, this is a machine that I actually would not buy. It actually costs more than the Dynapro, and in my opinion, you get less. While it is a lot more quiet than the Dynapro, you know, the carafe is smaller, which I'm not a big fan of. In addition, of course, it only has a 1-year warranty. For something this expensive, I personally believe it should have a longer warranty. That being said, the carafe is small, and that may benefit some of you guys and girls out there that want something small. And the performance is actually decent. You know, they do have a nice optimized design on the blade assembly that does grind up to a finer particle size and actually usually hit everything in the carafe. If you guys want to get the best discount on the Kuvings, either of the Kuvings, you could visit them at kuvingsusa.com. Link down below. You guys could use a coupon code DJ10 for 10% off unless a greater coupon is available, which will also show up if you click the link down below to Kuvings. All right. Last up, we have my favorite vacuum blender, and this is the one that I choose to use in my very kitchen at home. And this is the Kuvings commercial automatic quiet vacuum blender. This is my favorite vacuum blender on the planet. Now, you know, here's the thing. This is going to set you back like $2,000. It's not cheap. That being said, what this is this is convenient. I mean, look at this. There's no other blender that I'm aware of that you can just press one button. The lid opens. The lid will also close. It'll start to blend. It'll pull an automatic vacuum for you. So literally with one button press, the lid shuts. It pulls the vacuum. It blends automatically with its automatic cycles, and it blends to the perfect consistency every single time that I found. And then you can just take out your carafe, and you could, you know, I drink out of it in many cases, or you could scoop your mixtures out. I really love the carafe shape and design. The carafe is larger than their home unit, but still it's not as large as, say, like the 5-side carafe on the Blendtec, the Wild Side, or the Dynapro. But, you know, I found that this carafe really works well for me. You know, I make soups and I'll have to maybe blend 2 or 3 batches in here and then just combine them all after the fact. But I really love for my things like the smoothies and dressings where I only usually make like 3 or 4 cups. It really blends to the perfect consistency every single time. I mean, that's really where this machine shines. Number 1, it's automatic. Number 2, they've done a darn good job on engineering the blade to be sharp enough to grind up everything to a fine particle size, to get hit by the blade. In addition, besides the blade being sharp, this also has an uneven bottom. So all these blenders have even bottoms. This has basically a wild bottom, if we want to call it a wild bottom. So it really agitates the items in the blender more, so it basically gets chopped up more effectively. So yeah, this is the machine I use. And also, let's say that this is also the quietest vacuum blender out there that will blend the quickest. You know, given you blend the same amount of time in this blender and this blender has done a better job in less time than the other machines out there. So that's why I really love the Kuvings commercial vacuum blender. Link down below to my original unboxing where I go in depth on why I love the Kuvings commercial vacuum blender. If you guys even want to know how this compares to a commercial Vitamix, I also have a video where I compare this to a commercial Vitamix, and this kicks butt on the commercial Vitamix. So, you know, for those of you guys that are high end, this is the option that you'd probably want to go with. I mean, if you have a commercial juice bar, this is definitely the option. While the Tribest is also rated for commercial use, this is gonna bung you up, guys, because you gotta hit the vacuum button, and it takes 60 to 90 seconds to vacuum out, you know, depending on how full the carafe is. Whereas this, the vacuum is done in like literally 15 seconds. The lid shuts, it vacuums, the lid opens when it's ready. You could serve your customers without delay today instead of tomorrow when you're waiting for a vacuum pump that's quite slow to operate. So yeah, this is the one I love. And this is the one I would not give up. I mean, I give all the other ones up, but not the Kuvings. So yeah, if you guys have the money, you really want the best, I mean, this is what the best is. And maybe right now you're lucky enough to get the lowest price on it by using the coupon code links right down below this video. All right, so that brings us to the end of this episode. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to show you guys my top 2 favorite vacuum blending solutions at this time, each for different reasons. And my top 2 are actually the least expensive and the most expensive. The ones in the middle, like, I don't know, like each one of them have their own pros and cons, and they may be best for you or maybe the best solution for you. But for me, I really love the design and how these 2 options work, right? So of course, on the high end, as I just showed you guys, this is what I use in my very kitchen, the Kuvings CB commercial vacuum blender. I like this because it's just fully automatic, and I really particularly like the blends, that it blends to a nice fine consistency pretty much every single time. I usually run a 50 seconds ramp up cycle where it runs slower and goes progressively faster to the high speed. Pretty much anything I do in there in 50 seconds is blended. Some blenders, like my old school Vitamix, I'd have to run for twice as long to get the similar consistency, but not with the Kuvings. So that's quite impressive. Of course, the downside to this machine is, of course, the short 1-year warranty, and I wish Kuvings had something longer on such an expensive piece of equipment. Of course, my other favorite, if I had to choose any of these, would be actually a Blendtec blender with the very important wild side carafe. This is actually the extreme opposite. So this is a smaller carafe. This is the largest carafe. This is what I like to do vacuum juicing in if it's not the Dynapro. But I really love the Void Systems Lid. I have the special edition. I'm basically beta testing it right now for them. We could turn it on there. It says Void. But this is the high pressure model. You guys can't currently buy this, but when it is available, I will have a video on it. It will cost more money, but this pulls the most vacuum of any vacuum blender out there. And I really love the 5-side carafe. I'm really a big fan of squared off carafes because they're a lot easier to clean and to scoop out every last drop of my high cost, expensive ingredients. So lately I've been blending like blackberries with wild blueberries, dark cherries. I'll use freeze-dried black raspberry powder, and I'll use maybe some mangoes or jackfruit that are frozen, and then I'll blend that with some coconut water or coconut kefir, and then I'll basically have like a berry smoothie, and like berries are the most nutrient dense, and they're also really expensive. So I want to get every last drop out, and I could just easily take a spatula and spatula out these square-sided carafes. You can't really do that easily on the carafes that are more kind of rounded. And in addition, I really love how fast this vacuum pumps. Like, this vacuum pumps quick, but this is the second quickest if you had to get a vacuum pump. And I really dislike waiting for vacuum pumps to pump down before I have to blend. And I think that's where really the vacuum blending market can be improved, by putting in dual or, 3 or 4 pumps so that it vacuums more quickly, or, pumps with better volumes, because most vacuum pumps have small diaphragms, and like if I just use a hand pump, I could pump it down really fast, or maybe in a vacuum blender that is a hand pump that you could pump down really quick. I mean, I don't know, but making vacuum blending easy, convenient, and more seamless for the customer, I think is really where hopefully vacuum blenders go in the future. I know there are some other companies out there that are working on vacuum blending solutions, and I hope they will listen to my words and also make it easier for people to vacuum blend, and also, of course, make it more affordable. So the Kuvings is $2,000, whereas if you just buy this lid, the standard lid, not the high pressure lid that I'm showing you guys, but they look the same, is only $200. So literally that's 10 times more money for the commercial version, but pretty much you're gonna get second best if you just get this lid and get a Blendtec carafe. Of course, the downside with the Blendtec carafe is the sharpness of the blade, but if you're handy, I don't know, maybe you could somehow sharpen that blade yourself. But that's going to void your warranty, and I can't be held responsible. All right. And then, of course, when you guys get any vacuum blender, I highly encourage you guys to buy the Alexa's bags. This will allow you to do what's called vacuum juicing, or now you could do vacuum nut milk making, which actually I don't think I've shown yet. So you could actually get less oxidation and rancidity on your nuts and have better storability. I pretty much only make my nut butters in a vacuum blender these days for the most part, unless I'm demonstrating the Nutrimilk machine. But yeah, I really think vacuum blending is the way to go. And hopefully this video showed you guys some of the different models that are out there and my personal thoughts after using all of them, the pros and cons of each one of them, and which one you may want to buy depending on your specific budget and needs. So if you guys are looking to buy any of these vacuum blending solutions, make sure you check the links down below for the coupon code and special links to save the most money on any of these vacuum blending solutions. Of course, if I've helped you out by showing you guys my personal opinions on the vacuum blenders and telling you guys things about the vacuum blenders that you didn't know, I've helped you out. Help me out by using the coupon code and help yourselves out to some savings. But more importantly, each of the companies will share with me a small commission so I can continue to pay my video editor, power my lights, buy my food, and take time out of my day to make these videos so that you guys could learn from my personal experiences using the equipment to process the foods in the best ways possible to maximize the nutrition and phytonutrients out of them to benefit me and, of course, to benefit you all, because I want you guys to know the best processing techniques to process fruits and vegetables and their plant foods to maximize your health benefits, because that is why I got into and why I started my business after all. Of course, on any Kuvings or Tribest products, you guys could save 10% off using the links down below, dj10.kuvingsusa, or you could go to tribest.com/dj10. Make sure you click the activate coupon button to save 10% off, and you guys could save $25 off any of the Void Systems products, including the Void Systems lid, the kit for the Vitamix, or their whole vacuum blender by using the coupon code DJ25 at void-systems.com. I really hope this video was valuable for some of you out there that are considering buying a vacuum blender, and that I showed you guys my honest truths about the pros and the cons and each of them, and each one is so unique and different and have their own pros and cons. I'd also encourage you guys highly to watch the videos I made in the past where I go into detail and test each one side by side and compare it so that you guys could learn more about the performance of each one, since I really didn't cover that in this episode. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up and also share this with others that are interested in vacuum blending. Also be sure to click that subscribe button right down below so you don't miss my new upcoming episodes. I come out every 5 to 7 days. You don't know what you're up or what new equipment I'll be discussing so you guys can process plant foods, including fruits and vegetables, in the best ways possible to get the most nutrition into you. Make sure you click the little bells to get notified as many videos come out. And finally, be sure to check my past episodes. The past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 700 episodes at this time on this channel dedicated to you guys all about the different appliances to process your fruits and vegetables and their plant foods in the best ways possible. So with that, my name is John Kohler with DiscountJuicers.com. Be sure to visit DiscountJuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.